morning, everyone. I am here at Bethune Beach this morning. It is right about 7 o'clock, a little bit before. The sun is starting to come up. It's not up yet. And my plan, it's high tide right now, and it's getting ready to start going back out. My plan for today, I park here, and I'm gonna walk as far down the beach that way, which is south, as I possibly can. So the Canaveral National Seashore and Seashore Park is about 3 miles or 2.5 miles down the road. Maybe not that far. It's right down the road. But it costs $20 to get in, and I don't know a whole lot about it as far as like what kind of shells you can find down there. So I'm just going to walk as far as I can down the beach and see how the shelling is down that way, because up here it's pretty good for the most part. Here goes a little crab. If you guys can see him, he's right there by that hole. Don't know if that's his hole. It must not have been, because he didn't go down in it. Must be some other crab's hole. But anyway, I want to see how the shelling is down there. It seems like the further south you get, the better it is. So I'm just going to walk as far as I can today. I've packed water. I have a single backpack. I'm not carrying a bunch of stuff. And so, yeah, I'm just going to start trekking down that way and get as far down the coastline as I can toward the Canaveral National Seashore, and we'll see what we can find. I'm hoping that there will be some interesting things. I did get down there pretty far one day and found a sand dollar. I didn't make it home with it because, well, I made it home with it, but then when I tried to clean it, it broke. It was just really, really fragile, you know. This side of the ocean, the Atlantic, the waves are just, you know, oh, there's the sun just starting to come up over there. The waves are just relentless, and most everything gets broken up. You can find pieces of nice things. For me, for jewelry making, that's actually not a bad thing. You know, because you can't wear big heavy shells in jewelry, but it still is fun to find them, and I wouldn't mind having some. But I don't find them often here. I mean, I find little pieces of things. You can see they're just broken up, and you can tell they've been tumbled and tumbled and tumbled. But sometimes, every now and then, you will find a treasure over here on the East Coast. But for the most part, the West Coast is where you want to be for shelling. But I don't live on the West Coast, and I don't want to drive 4.5 hours or 3.5 hours every time I go to the beach. So here I am on Bethune today, and this is honestly my favorite beach. It is not crowded at all, as you can see. There's a few people out this morning, the early risers, and I actually wanted to get here way earlier, but I didn't wake up until 5:35 this morning. I didn't set my alarm, but I should have, I guess. But I wanted to leave the house this morning by about 5, so, you know, but I didn't. So it is what it is. But anyway, I'm gonna head on down the beach here. There's a rack line here that's not very good. There's not much there. But I'm really hoping as the tide goes out today that there will be a lot of really cool things. I've already seen a few little crabs. Let me see if I can zoom in on this guy. He is, let's see, there's one right, well, there's a couple, but they're really hard to see. They blend in with the sand so well. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and walk down. There's the sun coming up, beautiful, over the Atlantic Ocean. So I'll check back in with y'all in a little bit. Okay, so here's an interesting spot that I just wanted to point out. I'm not gonna walk out too far because I've got my phone out of its protective case, and as we all know, I drop my phone quite easily, so do not really want to take too much of a chance. But this little spot right here is kind of shallow. the tide's going out, so we've got kind of a shallow spot here, and the water kind of is going two different directions, it seems like. Like it's lapping this way and then it's lapping that way. So in and out, kind of right here and across. So sometimes this will be a spot that you can find interesting things. Not anything really all that grand, but sometimes you can find shells here that aren't so broken up, because if you can see up there on the shoreline, all I'm finding today really are small pieces of things. Now, it may get better as the tide goes out. I'm seriously hoping, because it's really bad today so far. There's just nothing. But this little spot is kind of a little bit sheltered. I guess it's maybe a sandbar. I don't know, but it's a little bit sheltered. So if something gets dropped here, as you can see, the water's moving, but it's not moving to the point where, you know, I can't grab something if I see it. And that's part of the problem here, is you just can't get into the surf, you know, to even find anything, because it just is crashing. The waves are. But here I might be able to find something. So I'm going to look around here for just a few minutes. I'm still trying to make my way down the beach. And if you can see, there are some tiki hut like roofs down there. I've been that far before, and that's where I found the sand dollar. So, and I know it really means nothing because it changes all the time, but I thought, you know, I'd like to go past that area and see what I can find. So I'm just going to keep looking here. I'm finding lots of clams, of course. We have tons of clams. There's a really pretty little white guy. I'm not sure what the names of these are. I am going to learn them. And here's a piece of, maybe not. I thought it was a piece of a scallop. I'm not even finding scallops today. And usually this beach is fantastic for calico scallops. So, you know, I'm not even finding those today. Here's a micro, if I can catch it. It's on the move. Every time I touch it, it goes with the current. Here's a micro tiny piece of a shark eye. So, you know, I don't know. Some days are better than others. I've been here before when it's been fantastic. Not that it's ever super fantastic on this East Coast, but there's a scallop. I love finding scallops. They are my ultimate favorite, really. But I've been here before where, you know, it was much better than this. So I'm going to do a little detour here from my trek down the beach and look right in this little spot. See if I can find anything interesting here. I did find that scallop. That makes me happy. So I'm going to keep looking, and I'll be back in a little bit. There's a beautiful view of the sun coming up, rising sun. So I'll be back. Okay, so I am down pretty far. Here's all the houses, the strand of houses, and I'm about to get past them, I think. Look at this up here. There's like no more houses. So I don't know how close to where the entrance is to the park, but I think I might be pretty close. We'll see. I don't know if there are any signs or anything that tell you can't go past a certain point. I do know that there is a nude beach way down, and I definitely don't want to find myself there, because being naked anywhere in public is like one of my worst fears, which other people probably don't share that fear, that have the good body. But yeah, I don't want to be on the nude beach. Not for me, not for anybody else. So I don't know where that's at. They said Pier 13, but I have no idea where I am. So I doubt I'm down that far, because I've been walking pretty slow. There's literally nothing. I mean, as you can see, there are no shells even. There's no rack line up there. There's nothing. It's just shell-less beach today, pretty much. I mean, I found some clams and stuff. And even if I don't find anything, I love walking the beach. It's my thing. But, yeah, so we'll see what's on down here. And I'm just going to keep kind of looking. I have found a few little things like scallops, but they're tiny, and a lot of them are broken. But I'm going to do a video on using broken shells for jewelry, because you can make some really pretty things with broken pieces. So I'm just looking along the water's edge here since there's nothing up on the shore. But yeah, I'm gonna walk on down here a little bit. I don't know what time it is. I got here at, let's see, is it right at about 7? Yeah, I think it was just right before 7, like 6:50, something like that. So no idea what time it is. I'll probably go down here a little ways, stop, get something to drink. Now see, look here. I've seen a bunch of these today. See this? Oh, I would love to find a whole one, but they're all really broken. They're very fragile. Those are. So I don't know what they are. They're very fragile because you see just pieces of them, but they look like they would be so pretty if they were whole. There's some birds having their morning breakfast. So it's beautiful. Shells or no, it's beautiful. And I enjoy it. It's just soothing to my soul to be on the beach. Yeah, I love it. Now it looks like there's some shells coming up here maybe. It's really weird how you'll find, you know, there will be tons in one spot, then you look and there's none. Now look at this. This is kind of cool. It's just a piece of something, but look how pretty the colors are. I'm not going to keep it. I'm still not real picky. I mean, I pick up things with holes in them. I'm not real picky about it because, you know, beggars can't be choosers. And, you know, I got to take what I can find. But there are a lot of people that are really picky. They won't pick up anything that's broken or chipped or too worn looking. But again, my standards haven't risen very far yet. Maybe after I've lived here for a few years they will, but they're still pretty low. I'll pick up about anything. If it looks pretty, I don't care. So anyway, but all right, I'm gonna keep looking and I'm gonna walk on down here and then I'll pull the camera back up so y'all can see what it's like down here. I've never been this far down, so really interesting. We'll see. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, so I am definitely on the Canaveral National Seashore. As you can see, I am the only person on this beach. Forrest, I see two little stick figures way down there, but I am the only one here, and though there are not a ton of huge shells here, I have found some really pretty scallops and some smaller things that are very nice. So, you know, for jewelry making, smaller is sometimes better than larger, though the larger ones are really fun to find. But I am picking up all kinds of good little goodies. The scallops make me so happy. I sat down here and there were two like really nice ones right beside me. I found some kitten paws. Yeah, I'm just enjoying this. It is so beautiful and there is no one here. A minute ago, a big helicopter flew over, and I don't know if y'all can see, but straight out there in the ocean, let me make it as big as I can, there are a bunch of birds, pelicans just flying around there. They're fishing, so there must be a bunch of fish right there. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's like right, woo, with my big finger, there. Bunch of pelicans out there. So I haven't really been watching the water. I've been just, you know, picking up shells and stuff. So there's probably stuff that I've missed. There's a big boat out there. But oh my gosh, it's so beautiful today. I'm just loving it. So I did sit down here to get a drink because I hadn't had any drinks the whole way down. And I don't know how far I've walked. I mean, I've walked a far piece. I will have to Google the distance from Bethune Beach down to, I don't know, I'll have to figure out kind of where I'm at. But I've been walking and walking and walking, and it's not fast walking, so I'm not getting good exercise or anything. It's very slow walking because I'm looking for shells, but it's more walking than I do when I'm home sitting at my desk making jewelry, so it's got to count for something, right? But anyway, I'm going to continue on, and I will be showing you guys all the treasures I found at the end of the day, because I really, even though I've not found anything super, like, you know, exciting, big, anything like that, I found all kinds of pretty small stuff and just some interesting things too. So, all right guys, I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Okay, so I have been walking for a long time. That's civilization back there, and it doesn't look that far away. But I feel like that I've walked really far. This is the rest of the Space Coast up here, and I actually just found I'm like super hot and super tired, so found a place to sit down here in the surf, and I am thoroughly enjoying the ocean right now. And the fact that this beach is pretty much mine alone. I have been walking for hours and only seen a couple of people. Somebody just went by on some sort of four-wheeler or dune buggy or something. It looked like an astronaut. I mean, I may be imagining things because I'm on the Space Coast, but I swear they had on a helmet that looked just like an astronaut thing, and I don't know, you can see them way far down there. It looks like they're coming back this way on four-wheelers. I don't know what they're doing. But anyway, I sat down here just for a few minutes to rest. I have really been finding some shells. My shell bag is full. Nothing like spectacular or totally different, but I found a lot of scallops, really pretty ones, and some pretty big shells that were whole. So, I mean, not like conchs or anything, but I'm still pretty excited about it. So I'm gonna play in the surf here for a few minutes and cool off. And then I don't know if I'm gonna walk a little ways down more or if I'm gonna turn around and go back. I may just turn around and go back because I don't want to get myself worn out to where I can't get back. So anyway, I'll see you guys in a bit. Well, the tide is coming back in, and there are some cool little tidal pools around here that I would like to be able to investigate, but that's happening. And that was not on the weather app this morning for my forecast. There were not supposed to be any storms until late this afternoon, so that's not looking good. And I can hear thunder and lightning, and I am far from my car still. It literally just popped up there, so I'm gonna book it back to the car, I think. At least get as close as I can. But see this tide coming in here, if you can see, it's rolling all the way up here. Probably gonna leave some cool stuff behind, but I hear thunder and I really don't want to get struck by lightning, so I'm gonna book it back to the car and we'll see if I make it. Okay, so I made it back to the car. It looks like the storm kind of went out over land. I don't know. It's been quite a while since I started my trek back, and I made it though, and it looks like it might be starting to drizzle a little bit with rain now, so made it just in time. Had an awesome shelling day. My bag was so heavy I had to stop and put some of the shells in my backpack so that I could just carry the beach bag. It was crazy heavy. So, and of course I didn't find anything spectacular, you know, like conchs or whole angel wings or, you know, anything like that. No olives, or I found a live olive, so I put him back. But I found so many beautiful scallops. I can't wait to get home and clean them up and show you guys what I found. And I'm gonna give you some newbie tips to the beach. So I am by no means an expert, but I am definitely an avid sheller. So I'm learning some tips and tricks about the East Coast and shelling. And since there's not that many videos about East Coast shelling, you know, in Florida, they're all about the West Coast because that's where the great shells are. I get it, but us East Coast people, you know, there are some tips that can help us too. And I'm going to show you guys how to make some jewelry out of the broken shells that I found. So just because they're tiny or they're broken doesn't mean you can't make beautiful things from them. So I'm going to head home, drive through, get something to eat and drink. I'm so thirsty. I've drank like 4 bottles of water. I'm still thirsty. And I'm going to wash these shells up, and then I'll show you what I found today. So see you in a bit. Okay, so I am back. It is actually the next day. And I've cleaned off all of these seashells and tried really hard to identify some of them. So let me show you. That container right there contains all the clam shells. So these are all clam shells of some sort. They're called bivalves. And I have put some out here so you can see. They're arcs. These are all arcs. These are all arcs in here. Not these. I'm not sure if these are all considered arcs or they're all clams. I think they're all clams. And these guys that I have in this thing up here, the container there, and these guys over here are all considered arcs. So not this one. But this is a ponderous arc. Look at the sand still. I thought I'd clean them all out. This is a ponderous arc, and I know that I was able to identify him in my book. So he's pretty cool. But I wanted you to see the difference in the colors of all these clams. I mean, it's amazing how many beautiful colors you can find. So, you know, you could do so many different things, and I'm going to try to collect a lot of these different colors. So I'm starting a big collection, and I'm just going to keep, you know, if I find a pretty different one, I'm probably going to keep it and try to have like one of each. And I know that's probably like impossible. You would never be able to collect them all, but I'm going to try. I'm going to give it a valiant effort. So there are so many different types of these arcs that I am not yet able to identify them all. It has things to do with how many ribs they have, which are these long lines. There's things to do with if it has cross lines or just long lines. I mean, there are things to do with the way the edges are here. I mean, there's just so much. But aren't they beautiful? There's so many different varieties. So those are arcs. Let me get these out of the way. And that's a ponderous arc. That's the only one I was able to actually figure out. So these are clams as well, but these are cross-barred Venus clams. That's what these are called. Where did my... Oh, she's over there. Okay, so these are cross-barred Venus clams. Look how cute. And I don't find a huge big amount of those that have this pattern on them. But I think these over here as well may all be cross-barred Venuses. I am not entirely sure. Again, there's a whole lot to identifying them, like how many ribs they have, which direction they run. I mean, there's just a ton. But I did find some really pretty ones. Look at that one. Isn't that pretty? And these aren't as plentiful as the clams are, the regular arc clams are. But these are very cool. So I'm going to move them back here. And they come in a really pretty variety of colors. Look at that, purpley. But those are cross-barred Venus. I was able to identify those as that. This one is an Atlantic giant cockle, and he's broken, unfortunately. But I am going to do some tutorials in this, you know, probably coming up, not in this same video, but coming up that show how to use the broken shells to make your jewelry, because you can. So isn't he cool though? But he is broken. So I'll do something with him anyway. Then this is a spectral bittersweet, I think. Again, I'm not the best at identifying, but I'm really trying. But isn't it pretty? Look at that. I love the way it has these stripes coming down. I think that's what that is. And if you're a shell expert and I'm wrong, please let me know, because I really am trying to learn. This is a lady-in-waiting Venus clam. So you can see the difference between that and the cross-barred Venus, I think. This has more of these going this way, and they're smaller. I think that's what that is. This possibly is a thin cyclinella. Again, I don't really know for sure. I used my book and tried to figure it out the best that I could. But it has some mollusk or some barnacle activity going on inside there. And it was still hinged together, so I'm not going to bother it. I'm going to leave it like this. It's pretty cool. Thin cyclinella. Now these I was not able to identify. I have no idea. I don't know if these are cross-barred. I don't think they are. I'm really not sure. But as you can see, all of the shells that we find on the East Coast are pretty well beat up. I mean, you know, look at these. They've got holes in them. They're tumbled to where they're almost completely smooth. But I still pick them up because they can be used for things. I'm going to show you that in some tutorials coming up. These are clams as well. Again, I have no idea what's what. I picked them up because they were very large, and we don't find very large intact very often. So this one I thought was cool. I don't know what that is. But look at the, like, these lines in here. Just very cool. This one, look at the colors on it. A little bit of mineral oil will make that really pretty. Any of these, they just need a little mineral oil on them. But they do have pretty insides as well. I'm just not sure what they are. This one. So if you know, I mean, I know there's some sort of clam. I just don't know what kind. So I got all of those. And then I found a bunch of pieces of things. So these are pieces of conch shells. I pick them up because I think they're cool. I bring them home and I'll see what we can do with them. We can definitely make jewelry out of some of these twisty ones. No problem with that. I think this is a piece of, I think this is called a tulip. But, you know, they're all just broken up pieces. But look at this one. Look how big. And I always am like, oh, you would have been so cool if you were whole. I think this is a piece of a lightning whelk. Not entirely sure, but I did pick up all these pieces that I found, especially these big ones, and look how tumbled this is. I mean, just amazing. So I won't pull all of those out, but they were pretty cool. Here was one that I thought was pretty cool too. Can definitely make a pendant out of this. Really cool. And I found, let me see if I can find it real quick. There was a smaller one in here that was going to make a really good pendant as well. Here it is. Look at that. That's going to make a really cool little pendant. So, like I said, I'm going to show you later how, in some tutorials coming up, how to work with these broken pieces. So those were my twisties. Then I found a bunch of oysters. I love oysters. I think they are so cool. They make really cool pendants. They can also be trinket trays. If you have an air plant, you can put an air plant in one of these. There's a lot that you can do with oysters because they're large a lot of times. Look at this guy. How cool would it be to glue pearls in here? We're going to do that. We're going to make a pendant out of some of these. This one, I mean, they're just beautiful, the oysters are. And I really like, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, these kind here. So it's already got the hole for you. I mean, it'll be cool to make pendants out of some of these. Okay. And then, so these are just pieces, top pieces of conchs. I think they're possibly called button tops when they're found like this. As you can see, it's just the top of the conch shell. But you, again, drill a hole through that. It'll make a really cool pendant. If you have two that match, you can make earrings. So there is a lot that you can do. These are just pieces of things that I found today. Yeah, I don't even know what they all are, but this is a piece of a lettered olive. We don't get very many whole olive shells on the East Coast. I did find an olive that had the creature still in it, so I just threw him back in the ocean, but we don't get too many whole olives. Now, these are shark eyes. And again, we don't get whole ones, but we do find some pretty, you know, look at this one. And again, they can be pendants, or if you have two that you find that kind of match, they could be earrings. So I did find a whole bunch of these. These were, you know, they're pretty much everywhere. See, look at that. Little pair of earrings maybe, or I don't know. But those two definitely could be a pair of earrings. But these are cool. They're shark eyes. And I did find a bunch of them. This is all just from yesterday's trip. So, okay. These are just pieces of these. I love to pick these up. Doesn't that look like an alien's face? I mean, I just love to pick up these pieces of this stuff that's just really, I just think it's very cool. So I picked up a bunch of this. This, I have no idea what this is. Maybe it's just a rock, but look how shiny it is on the top. And then around the edges, it's very matte, and the bottom is matte. But it's very shiny on the top. I don't know what it is. I thought it was very cool. I just picked him up because he was so well worn. I thought he deserved retirement to be out of the waves. And again, it's all this really cool just pieces. Look at the hat. Pieces of stuff in here. These are some more clams, I think. They might be crossbarred Venus clams. I'm really not sure. I'm not sure what this one is either. I have a book, and the book helps, but I still am just not knowledgeable enough. I need to be watching some more videos, which I have been trying to do, but it's hard to figure out sometimes, even with the book. These are just pieces of things as well. So these are pieces of angel wings. We never find whole angel wings on the East Coast, but if this was broken up and filed the edges down, you could make a really cool pendant piece out of it. So I picked them up. I love these flat scallop pieces. These are great for pendants or a little pair of earrings, if you can find two that match pretty well, which I don't think I have two in here that do, but yeah, I mean, you could make a little pair of earrings, and they don't have to match perfectly. That's kind of the point. They're organic, but you know, cute little pendant pieces or earrings out of these. So, and again, I'm going to do some tutorials showing how to do it. And then, okay, so the stars of the show are the scallops. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and get them out and lay them out here so you can see them. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so here are the scallops that I found yesterday at Bethune Beach and the Canaveral National Seashore. So, oh my goodness, so many. I stopped counting at 150, so I don't even know how many, but I found this orange one. These are so rare on our coast. They just are so beautiful. They have so many pretty colors in them. They're all so different and unique. And I don't care if it's a little bit broken, I pick it up anyway. I feel like Gollum on the Lord of the Rings with the ring with my scallops. That's how I am with them. I love them. They're so pretty. So I did pick up all of these. Some of them were broken, but some of them were not. Like this one, I found some bigger ones. So I was so excited yesterday to pick up all these scallops, to find all these, because when I first got there, I wasn't finding any, and usually the beach is pretty good for that. So let me show you my collection already. So I already have this. This is a truffle bowl that I got at Hobby Lobby for like $2, and I keep all the scallops in here. I love them so much. They're so pretty. I just like to sit and look at the colors of them. I keep them right on my beading desk. So I was thrilled yesterday to find all these scallops. So again, I'm going to take one of them, probably a pretty broken up one, and show you how you can use it to make jewelry, even if it's broken. So those were the scallops. And then I found a few pieces of sea glass. So a couple pieces of brown and a piece of white. I've never found any like aqua or anything. It's always brown and white, but I thought this was interesting because it's still got the, see that? The numbers on the bottom. It must have been a bottle. So that, I did find a bunch of kitten paws. So here they are. Whole big bunch of kitten paws. They were plentiful yesterday in all different colors. And I found some slipper snails, or these are sometimes called Indian boats because it looks like a little canoe if you turn it upside down, but it's actually a slipper snail. And these, you know, they're pretty beat up and broken up, but I kept some. There were a lot more that I didn't pick up of these. And I found one piece of mermaid money. Here it is, one piece of mermaid money. So that is my findings. So a couple little things that I wanted to point out. So I am definitely a novice for sure, but I'm learning. And a couple things that I've learned. If you're going to shell on the East Coast, it doesn't matter if the tide is high or low. When the tide is high, it's going to be going out and revealing pretty things. When it's low, it's going to be coming in and revealing pretty things. That's the thing about the Atlantic. You can shell pretty much any time and you're going to find, some things. The drawback is a lot of the things are beat up and we don't find very many different varieties of things. That's just the way it is. The West, you definitely want to shell at low tide. So I went to Honeymoon Island, found all kinds of great things. It was low tide. The second time I went back to Honeymoon Island, it was a disaster. We didn't find anything, and it was high tide. So I'm believing that the low tide is where you can get out and dig under the sand. That's how you find things on the West Coast better. A lot of people say it's better to shell after a storm. I think on the West Coast that's probably true. On the East Coast, I'm not so sure because the storm is going to beat things up. We just had a storm a couple of days ago, and I think that was one of the reasons that I was finding just tiny pieces of things and not so much whole shells, was because of the storm. So I'm not positive on that yet, but I think it's something. And then another thing on the East Coast, find tide pools and shallow areas where the water's just kind of gently washing over. You can find them when the tide is going out, and that's definitely going to be your best place to find things, or the rack line. But do not try to shell in the heavy surf. You're just not going to find anything there, and if you do see it, you can't grab it quick enough. I mean, it's just really hard. So anyway, those are my observations. This was what I found, and I'm loving the scallops. I'm so excited about them. But I will be back with some tutorials on how to use the broken pieces of jewelry or broken pieces of shells to make jewelry. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you ring the bell, it'll notify you when I upload those videos. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.